Welcome. After 12 years, I am 99% sure my wife has been having an affair for the past 2 years. This is by far the hardest post I have ever had to write, and I can't even express the feelings that are going through me right now. I am 33 years old and have been with my wife, of 31, for 12 years, 7 married. The first 10 years have been fantastic. We have built an amazing relationship, traveled the world and created what I thought was an unbreakable bond of love, but I'm afraid I was wrong and it is absolutely killing me. About 8 years ago she started working with a guy, who we will call A. We never had any problems or any suspicious behavior. In fact, we became very close friends with A. and his girlfriend J. Over the years we hung out quite a bit, went on BBQs and vacations, and all was well. About 2 years ago, however, my wife's relationship with A changed drastically, and I started recording and documenting every bit of activity between them that I became aware of, as well as first-hand accounts that I witnessed. Here is my 2-year log if you feel like reading it. April 2021. Up until this month I was consistently going to softball every week with my wife to watch A. and his team play. One week, I was tired and didn't want to attend. I offered to give my wife a ride and pick her up and dropped her off. Then they all left, and at 1:30 a.m. I still hadn't heard from her. I called at 1:45 and she said they were at a local bar, so I headed that way. I sat in front at 2 a.m. and the bar was closed, but my wife was nowhere to be seen and was not answering my calls. 10 minutes later at 2:10 a.m. she texted me. She was in A's car talking to him. I drove her home at 2:15 when she finally came out. I didn't think anything of it because she had never given me reason to distrust her. She told me that he was having a hard time and that she was listening to him. The next week he asked me not to go to softball anymore. I was perplexed because in our 10+ years together, she had never asked me not to go anywhere. We had always been very close and she had enjoyed my company, and now she no longer wanted me there. Her explanation was, "I just want some time to myself with my coworkers." This was the first of 12 times she asked me not to go somewhere over the next 14 months, increasingly aggressive. A is the only common denominator present in those 12 occurrences. My wife begins a rigorous weight loss regimen. She goes on to lose 50 pounds over the course of the year. May-June 2021. For the remainder of the softball season, she asks me not to join her anymore. She and A go out after softball and stay out until after midnight at least every time. Don't know what weekend it happened, but J, A's girlfriend of 12 years, leaves town for a weekend to go see her family. My wife spends all day Saturday with A, because I am at work, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at A's house alone with him, watching movies. She claims he needed her help to take care of his dog. July 2021. Jay goes out of town for another weekend this month. Again, my wife spends every minute I am at work with him. Again, she says she needed his help with the dog. That Saturday afternoon we had plans to take the dog to the park. My wife changed her mind and decided to go with A to take her dog to the park instead. October 2021. My wife and A are now in a constant state of going out together several times a week alone, and I often stay home alone while they go out together. Weekends are midnight to 2 a.m. nights for them. The wife changes jobs, A follows her to the new job, and they get on the same lunch hour. They have lunch together and walk to work together every day. They work for a large company that has a 3 kilometers nature trail outside the building. September 4th, incident in the park. Incident in the park. I am going an hour out of town to attend a friend's going away party. Wife says she is staying in town to go out with A. I drop her off late afternoon at a bar before I leave. I have arranged to be her driver when I return to town. The following events occur. 1:42 a.m. I return to town. I call my wife, who is clearly drunk, to warn her. She gets angry, gets defensive, and starts insulting me by telling me she is not ready for me to pick her up yet, and hangs up on me. The bars are already kicking people out, so why wouldn't she be ready? I go home. 2 a.m. I still haven't heard from her. The bars are closed, so where could she be? I decide to go into town and look for her. We have our phones located, so I use the app and she has turned off her location. 2:10 a.m., I try to call, she doesn't answer. 2:15 a.m., I try to call again, no answer. 2:20 a.m., I call again, she answers and says they are at a local park and to go get them. 2:25 a.m., I get to the park and look everywhere, but can't find them. I call her back and they come out of the creek in pitch dark. She has dropped the earring and they are looking for her. What are they doing in the creek in pitch dark at 2:30 in the morning, and how did she drop the earring? 2:45 a.m., we just left A. On the way home, my wife tells me that she no longer wants A to marry J. This is after a couple of years of talking to J about marrying A, and how excited she was that they were finally engaged. December 2021. Wife approaches me about going skiing with A. This is a hobby she has never expressed interest in before. They make a few trips throughout the season, from opening to closing, often leaving afterwards. Wife and A, they start their snap streak on Snapchat. From that point on, they start obsessively taking pictures of each other every day. This becomes the only form of communication they have used to this day. January 2022. My wife has a medical problem that is going to require an MRI, and she has to have a driver for her appointment. I have Thursdays off, but she scheduled it for a Wednesday, A's day off, and tells me he is going to be her driver. I object to this and tell her I will change my days off that week and be her driver. This is a sensitive medical issue and, as I am her husband, I must be at her side. She gets angry, tells me that she doesn't want me to be her driver and that A is going to do it. Not only does he drive her to her appointment at 8 a.m., but he stays home alone with her all day and leaves just before I get off work. Why didn't he schedule my day off instead of hers? June 2022. Softball season resumes and, like last year, I get disinvited. Midnight to 2 a.m. nights are back to normal. The weeks I work until 7, she and they come home and hang out before softball starts. The weeks I leave at 5, they go to a bar or straight to the field after work. One week I left early and surprised them at home. They were having dinner together. June 24th, Fallout Incident. Fallout Incident. I go out to a bar with a couple of friends. My wife is having dinner at a restaurant across the street with A, and she didn't want me to join. She texts me and asks if she and A can come upstairs and grab a quick beer before heading to the next bar. They arrive and, as they get ready to leave, I insist on joining them. She doesn't want to, we argue a bit, but she relents and says yes. At the next bar, we talk soccer and the woman asks A if he has ever been to an NFL game. He says no and she responds with, "I'm going to take you to a game one day, love." I immediately take notice and ask her if she just called him love. She looks surprised at first, assuming she just realized she accidentally did, and responds, "Yes, I call everyone love." Spoiler alert, she doesn't. After that, A stopped talking to me, so I walk about 4 feet to the bar to talk to the bartender, who we're friends with. I see A and his wife whispering to each other. A gets up to go to the bathroom and my wife says she's going to use the bathroom too. Suspicious of this, I stand in view of the upstairs bathrooms. I see A leave the men's room and, instead of returning, he stands behind a wall next to the toilets and waits for my wife. She comes out and they walk together behind a wall out of view from the bar. After about 2 minutes of waiting for them, I'm on anxiety overload, so I start marching over there and face them as it turns the corner, walks down the ramp with an angry face and glares at me as he walks by. The woman is crying around the corner. I ask her what's wrong and she says, "Nothing, A is an idiot." At this point I've had enough, I've seen enough and I'm sure there is a relationship going on, so I call her and demand answers. We sit in her car for 4 hours talking about everything. She gives me contradictory answers, changes her answers and is adamant that there was never anything. July to December 2022. Suddenly she stops dating A, except for lunch at work, after the fall. In July we travel to Denver to celebrate my birthday. Less than 30 minutes after we check into the hotel, after a 6-hour drive, she confronts me about how hurt she is that I don't believe her about her relationship with A, and makes me feel guilty about how depressed she feels about it. She gives me an ultimatum to believe her or pack up and go home. Despite not leaving, she keeps snapping at him, and to this day they haven't missed a day since November 2021. In November, she approaches me to tell me that she misses A, and wants to go out with him again. I indulge her knowing that she is likely to file for divorce anyway. Things start to pick up exactly the same as before. Gradually with more obsessive Snapchatting, and then they go back to dating every now and then. Wife, A, myself and a friend go out after a going-away party. At 11:30 p.m. my wife starts getting affectionate with me. A turns red with anger, bangs the table and watches a sports game on TV. When my wife asks him what's wrong, he replies agitated, "Nothing, I'm fine." He gets up and leaves. We explain to him that we just got paid and will walk back to the cars together, to which he responds, again aggressively, "No thanks, I don't want to bother you," as he looks directly at my wife and me. January 2023. We go on vacation to Australia and New Zealand. During this trip, my wife uses Snapchats with A every day from the time she wakes up back home until midnight, 1 a.m. home time. It is so obsessive that she does it while we are hiking and we are supposed to be experiencing this country together. During this trip, I've noticed that he hides his pictures from me. When I'm sitting next to her with her phone in view, I see her open everyone's pictures except A's. She leaves it unopened. And within a few minutes she asks me to go get a drink or something to get up from the table, or she goes to the bathroom, waits for me to leave again. I take a quick drink and go back to the bar. This time, he looks over his shoulder twice to make sure I'm not coming back before opening it again. The next day, we were on the bus and I saw that I received a message from A. Before I responded to her, she exited the conversation, which deletes the message, and came back in to respond. I confronted her about this situation, in which she calmly responded that she didn't realize she was hiding them from me and assured me that nothing was wrong. These were voluntary actions she had to take. You can't do that by accident. We are on the other side of the planet and I can't jump off a ship, so I play dumb and move on. 2 days later we are at a trivia night on the ship. This is the night she's been the most taken, and she wasn't being so careful about hiding her jokes. I look over and read the following exchange: "Wife, I don't want to hear another sob story from you." A. He sends her back a text-filled snap that she immediately closes without reading. "Wife, I've already told you I've made my decision." We board the plane in Auckland to return home. As we buckle up for takeoff, I notice he sends her a couple of paragraphs of text via Snapchat. At that point it's 2 a.m. at home, so I confront her and ask why he's texting her so late. She gets angry and says she's just saying good night and wishing us a good flight. We get into an argument. I bring up the aforementioned conversation that I monitored, in which she seemed surprised that I saw that and couldn't give an explanation. She says she doesn't remember what it was about. Takes a day off work to go skiing with my wife the second day we return, Friday, even though they both have Saturday and Sunday off. On our first 2 days back, they spend a day and a half together. A couple of things of note here as well. In March 2021 she changed her Facebook profile picture, from a picture of the two of us to one of just her. She has changed it 7 times since then, and has never had one with me in it, even though every profile pic before 2021 always put one in which we both appeared. Maybe a coincidence / probably not. Her responses to the park incident: 1. Nothing happened. 2. I don't think anything happened. 3. We talked the next day because we were afraid something had happened, but neither of us remembers it. 4. I am 90% sure nothing happened. Your answers to the fallout incident: what were you talking about behind the wall? 1. I can't tell you, it's a secret about someone we both know. 2. Well, I was talking bad about the bartender, our friend, and we got into a fight about it. 3. Okay, I wasn't talking about the waiter, but it's still about someone we know and I can't tell you. So here we are. It's so complicit and obvious every time I read this blog that they are having a relationship. Even if they didn't do anything physically, which I think the park incident they did, she is still clearly having an emotional affair. I know a lot of people are going to say I should have ended this last year, and they are absolutely right, but I have to be honest, it's not that easy. I've been with this woman for 12 years, that's over a third of my entire life. She is my first love and the person I thought I would spend the rest of my life with, so this has been, and will be the hardest and most challenging thing I will ever go through. Sorry for such a long post, but I feel so alone right now because I have not been able to talk to anyone about this because I didn't want her to go back to my wife. I want to handle this on my own terms at a time of my own choosing. I just need support and assurances that I am not being an insecure husband who exaggerates the situation. Thank you to those of you who have taken the time to read this. I will be ending this relationship in the next few weeks, and I pray that the healing process will be easier than I expect. Update February 21, 2023. Thank you all for being patient. There is a little hiccup. I went to the law office on Friday and filled out the preliminary paperwork, just basic information really, no details of my specific case, and they said they would contact me on Monday to see about scheduling a consultation. After going unnoticed yesterday and hearing nothing by noon today, I emailed them and just received a reply back. The attorney just had a chance to review the information you provided, and based on her current workload and the needs of your file, she is unable to represent you. Thank you very much for contacting us. I will be honest, I am very upset right now. This lady was supposed to be the best divorce attorney in town, and she didn't even give me a chance to have a consultation, so I am back to the drawing board. I am going to try to go to my second lawyer's office tomorrow, but we have this massive winter storm that is supposed to dump 1.5 feet on us, so I hope they are open. We'll update as things progress. Edit 1. Thanks for the responses so far. Key thing I left out: I am planning to meet with A before I file for divorce. I haven't said anything to J yet, but I'm going to blackmail her with this to force her to give answers. She is definitely the man in that relationship, and I know he will be terrified that she will find out something, so if I can get a confessed truth from him beforehand, it will make this process much easier. My wife knows I'm planning to meet with A, but under the guise of, I just want to clear the air, hit the reset button and move on. She thinks that means apologizing to her and re-establishing our friendship. In that she is very wrong. The good thing is that because of this she is happy to know that I am going to meet with him, so I don't have to worry about doing this in secret. Edit 2. Well, I thought I was going to meet with the attorney today, but I guess I was just getting the preliminary paperwork filled out with the paralegal, and I'm looking at Tuesday before I can have my consultation. Another problem is that they want a $10,000 refundable retainer. I have the money, but only in joint accounts, so I have to resolve that hurdle. I will update everyone accordingly as this progresses. Update February 22, 2023. Still stuck in limbo due to this winter storm. Our entire city is closed today and probably tomorrow. I emailed the attorney again to see if she wasn't able to help me, because I just wanted an initial consultation, and told them I am able to get the $10,000 for retainer fees if that will change her mind. If not, I will go talk to option number 2 as soon as this storm is over and they open up again. I will update. Update. I just heard back from the attorney's office. My case was not rejected due to a conflict of interest, it is simply a caseload problem. The attorney has too many cases in front of her at this time and does not feel she could represent me to the full standards she expects for her clients. I appreciate her honesty and will be moving on to option number 2, hopefully tomorrow if the weather improves. Update February 23, 2023. Law firms are still closed today due to road conditions after the blizzard. My wife called me this morning and asked if I could go to dinner with her tomorrow. I said go ahead and played hard to get. I'm at a point in my book that encourages me to start emotionally detaching from her and the situation so that DD's day will be easier to handle with a cool head, in a less emotional way. This will be a good test for me. I'm going to go home, have a scotch and spend the night as a wizard at Hogwarts Legacy without worrying about what I'm doing with A. I'm leaving her anyway, so why should I let it get to me? However, I called the only private detective we have in town and we had a good conversation, but unfortunately he already has surveillance work he has to do tomorrow, so he can't help me, but he offered to work with me if I decided to go through him. He charges $110 an hour while he is working and a retainer of $3, 500. The next step is still to get a meeting with a lawyer. I am going to ask them, given my detailed record, whether I should approach A and blackmail him into telling me the truth or let this drag on, and hire the private investigator until I get hard evidence before moving forward with the divorce. Time will tell at this point. I will keep you posted tomorrow if I finally get with a lawyer. So she has been dating A for the last 2 years in front of you. Your story is full of red flags on her part. You have caught them every time, yet you have always made the mistake of confronting her without evidence and letting her get away with it. The fact that she's been smart enough to make sure she's deleted the messages so you can't find anything is enough for you to know that you're neither insecure nor delusional. She has been having an affair for the past 2 years. This begs the question, are you willing to go on like this for the rest of your life like this or until she leaves you, or are you going to stop with the pick-me dances and do something? Oh honey, I hope that's a good term. Reading this has broken my heart. I can feel how much you loved your wife and how much you wanted to trust her and give her the benefit of the doubt. Based on the evidence you provided, this was a full-blown relationship that was almost certainly physical as well. I am very sorry for that. You seem to have a very kind nature, and I hope your future is much brighter than the last few years have been. You deserve it. Up, thank you so much, I really love my wife with all the depths of my soul. This is incredibly painful, but the support of everyone on this thread has helped me beyond measure and given me the strength to start putting one foot in front of the other. Get a private investigator and get the evidence and get out of there. She is lying and you are letting her get away with it. Go see a lawyer, get everything in order, serve her financially and move on. OP, I'm meeting with my lawyer today. Turns out they can subpoena Snapchat and everything she has done there is stored in a cloud for 5 years. Bro, this was a very hard read. From the beginning, anyone reading this knew what was going on. But being in the middle of it, along with the emotions involved, makes it hard to see the forest for the trees sometimes. Deep down you know, and I think you have known for a long time, what you need to do, and it sounds like you are headed for divorce, as your wife's actions definitely show that is the best decision. Read all the advice here and then act in your own best interest. Your wife should no longer be a factor in what you decide to do in the future. She has shown nothing but disrespect for you and it is time for her to pay the piper and reap the consequences of the bad decisions she has made regarding you and your marriage. Please move on without her. Good luck. OP, I needed all this support, thank you. I just got to the attorney's office and I am shaking. I had to read comments like this to get me out of the car. After reading this I now want to divorce his wife. Even if we take out the obvious physical issue, it is so blatantly obvious that she is in love with this guy and has no respect for her relationship with you and your boundaries. Divorce her and move on with your life. Find someone who will give you the respect you deserve. Stop accepting this mallow from her, get your dignity back. Are you still 99% sure? Your wife goes out with another man, stays there till 3 a.m., another man stays with your wife in your own house every day and you still think nothing is going on. Jesus, you truly love pain, don't even confront A, inform his girlfriend, divorce your wife and move on.